Okay, Math 1, Unit 1 test review. So we're going to try to get r by itself in number 1. We add 9 to the other side, and we get r equals 7. Number 2, I multiply by 9, and I get x equals negative 8. Right, I multiplied by that 9 because it was in the denominator. Number 3, I add 2 to both sides, so I get k equals 1. Number 4, I add 13 to both sides, and I get n equals 16. Number 5, I multiply by 7 on both sides because I've got a denominator of 7, and I get k equals, I don't know what that's going to be. What is that? Negative 196. Number 6, I add 48 to both sides, and I get x equals 50. Number 7, I'm going to start off. How do I want to start off? Since I can divide both by negative 3 really nicely, I'm going to do that. So I get negative 5 plus r equals negative 13. Is it negative 13? I'm thinking so. And then I'm going to add 5 to both sides, and I get r equals negative, what is that, 8? Negative 8. Alrighty. Same deal with number 8. Because I can divide nicely by 3, I'm going to. Right? If that 90 wasn't divisible by 3, I wouldn't do that. But since it is, I think it just makes it easier to do it this way. Negative 12 plus b is negative 30. I'll add 12, and I get b equals 18. Is that 18? Negative 18. What is the answer number 8? Yep, negative 18. There we are. Number 9, again, I'm going to just go ahead and divide by this negative 2 because I think that makes it easier. If you wanted to, you could distribute out the 2, but I think it's easier just to divide. So x minus 16 is a negative 25. I add 16 and I get x equals negative 9. Negative 9. Alrighty, number 10. I'm going to start off by combining like terms. So I've got negative 7 equals 4, 5, 6, 7x. Right, is that right? Yeah, divide by 7 and I get x equals negative 1. Number 11. What do I want to do to start off with? To get the numbers smaller, because I'm trying to do these in my head, I'm going to start off by dividing by 2. So I divide everything by 2. I mean, you really don't have to do this, but it just makes the number smaller for me. Negative 12 plus 3r is 4. Negative 3 plus 4r. Yeah. Keeps all the numbers a little bit smaller for me. I'll distribute out the 4, so I get negative 12 plus 3r is negative 12 plus 16r. I've got negative 12 on both sides, so those can cancel, right? And then I get 3r equals 16r. Okay, combine my like terms or get my r's together. I'll subtract 3r to both sides. And I got 0 equals, what is that, 13r. Divide by 13 and 0 equals r. Now here's something to pay attention to. Right there, it's easy to look at that and say, well, that's no solution. If you were to say no solution, you would be incorrect, right? Because if you were to plug in a 0 there, it would work. Number 12, I've got a negative 10 on both sides, so I'm just going to divide by negative 10 and cancel those out. So I get 3 minus 5b equals b minus 9. This is going to be 6b equals 12, 9, 10, 11, 12, yep, and 2 equals b. I've got negative 1 equals, combined like terms, my p's cancel is negative 1. And here we have an all, is it all solutions or all real numbers is the way that it calls it, all real numbers. Or you could say infinite solution. Either one is a good answer. Number 14, I can't do any fancy dividing, so I just got to multiply out. We got negative 20 plus 25v, nope, minus 25v. plus 2v equals 34 minus 5v. I'm going to add my 20 over. I'm going to add my 5v over. So then I'm going to have, what is that going to be? Negative 25 plus 5 is going to be negative 20. Plus 2 is going to be negative 18. Negative 18v, and then on the other side I've got 54. If I divide by negative 18, I'm going to have, is that negative 3? 3 times 8. Yeah. V equals negative 3. All right. Number 15. I'll start off by distributing the negative and the 2. So I'm going to distribute this negative and this 2. Here, that kind of covers up the problem. This negative and this 2. So I'm going to have negative 5x minus 7 equals negative 2x minus 14x minus 18. I will add 18. I will add, oh no, wait, hold on. I will add 18 and I will add 5x. So I get negative 7 plus 18 is 11. Then I'm going to have negative 14, 15, 16, 11x, negative 11x. So negative 1 equals x. All right, we're solving for x. I'm going to slow down just a little bit. I recognize that I went fast through that, but oh well. So here's my x. I need to get the x by itself. I'm going to start off by subtracting 2 from both sides, and I get u minus 2 equals 4x. Now, to get my x by itself, I'm going to divide by 4. And there we are. Alrighty, next up. Again, I'm getting solving for x. I'm going to subtract y and add m. So I get z minus y, oops, that is not a y. Z minus y plus m equals x. And there we go. I'm solving for x again. First thing to notice is there are two x's, so I need them on the same side and alone. So I'm going to subtract kx from both sides. I get u equals yx minus kx. I can factor, or otherwise known as undistribute, an x, so y minus k. And then last up, I can divide y minus k. So I get u over y minus k equals x. All right, number 19. A jet made a trip to the air show and back. So this is a there and back problem. So let me go ahead and make my chart there, back, speed, time, distance, okay. On the trip there, it flew 270 kilometers per hour. So right here, I'm going to put 270. And on the return trip, it went 180. How long did the trip there take if the trip back took 12 hours? What is 180 times 12? 180 times 12. That is 2160. Well, there and back, we know that there and back problems are equal. Their distance are equal, excuse me. So I get 270, x equals 2160. So x is 8, and we're talking about 8 hours. All right, number 20, a passenger train left the station and traveled towards the fueling station at an average speed of 90 miles per hour. So we got speed, time, and distance. We got the passenger, and we have a freight train if you read on a little bit. So it went 90 miles an hour. A freight train left traveling sometime later in the opposite direction. Ah, this is an opposite direction problem. With an average speed of 80 miles per hour. After the passenger train had traveled for 19 hours, they were 10 miles apart. Find the number of hours the freight train traveled. So here's our x, time for the freight train. So 19 times 90 is 1710, and then the other one is 80x. So I get 1710 plus 80x is 2510, right? Because we remember, we have to add up the distances whenever we go in opposite directions. Okay, so to solve this, I'm going to subtract 1710, so I get 2510 minus 1710. 80x is 800, so x is 10, and we're talking about time. So it's 10. Are we using hours? I think we're using hours. Hours. So 10 hours. All right, 21. Draw a graph for the inequality. So we've got x is bigger than or equal to 6. So we're going to have a closed dot on 6 because it could be equal to 6. And x is bigger, so I shade over here. That's not very pretty. I shade over here. All right, 22. This one we just solved the inequality. So I'm going to divide by negative 17. So I get p, and remember, if you multiply or if you divide by a negative number, you got to switch that sign. So this one, the arrow is pointing left. Now the arrow is pointing right. Okay, we get 255 divided by 17. That's going to be negative 15. And that's our answer. Sometimes CUDA will end up always putting the p or the variable on the left side. So if you do need to rewrite this to where the p is on the left and the negative 15 is over here, just make sure the alligator is still eating the same number. So over here, the alligator is eating the 15, right? Right here, the alligator is eating the 15. Over here, it has to eat the 15 also, so it's going to have to be like that. Okay? You could also think of it as it's pointing towards the P in both spots. Either way, however you want to think about it. 23. Solve each inequality and then graph it. So I'm going to start off by adding 1. So I get negative 3m is greater than or equal to, what is this, 36? 36. Yep. I will divide both sides by negative 3. I get m, and make sure we flip that sign. And 36 divided by negative 3, I have no idea, is that 12? I don't think that's 12. Yeah, that is 12, good grief. Yeah, 3 times 2 is 6, yeah. So you get negative 12. So I've got a closed circle on negative 12, and m is smaller, so I'm going to shade to the left. Okay. All right, 24. Again, this one's just like the last one, except it takes a little bit longer to solve it. So we've got, I'll start off by adding my 4 to both sides. So I'm going to have negative 205 is greater than negative 5 times 1 plus 8x. Just like earlier, I'm going to use the trick where I can just divide right here by negative 5. 205 divided by 5 is going to be 41. Is it 40? Yeah, 41. It's a positive 41 now, right, because they're both negative, and I need to switch my sign. So it was pointing to the right, now it's pointing to the left, and I have 1 plus 8x. I'll subtract 1 from both sides, and I get 40 is less than 8x. Divide by 8, and I get, what is that? Is that 5? Yep. 5 is less than x. Now again, if you do need to flip this around to get your CUDA answer, you have the x on the left, the 5 on the right. The alligator is pointing, well, it's eating the x and it's pointing to 5, so it needs to be eating the x and pointing to 5. We can put a open circle on the 5, right? Open because there's not a line underneath it. X is bigger. Yes, x is bigger than 5. So like 6 is bigger than 5, so it shades this way towards the bigger numbers. All right, 25. We have compound inequalities, so we just have to do everything twice. So like here's the first problem, here's the second problem. So the left one, we have r is less than or equal to -5, right? Because you multiply by that 5. The other one, we add a 5 over and we get r is greater than -3. Because we add that 5 over. That's kind of interesting how they have the 5s in both of them. All right, so graphing the left one, we have a closed circle on the -5, which should be between 6 and 4. It says r is smaller than -5, so like -10 is smaller, so we could shade this way. And the other one is r is bigger than -3, so we're going to have an open circle on -3, and we're going to be shading this way. All right, notice how one is a closed circle, one is an open circle. Number 26. Here, let me highlight these so that I can think about it better. We'll start off, in the yellow one, I'm going to put the x's on the left. So I've got 4x and 3x, that gives me an x. And I'll add my 5 over and I get a 2. And the other one, I'm going to add my x's to the left again. So I get 5, 6, 7, 8x is less than 0, right? Because I put my 4's together. So x is less than 0, right? So x is, we'll start off with the yellow one over here. Let me highlight these again. X is greater than or equal to 2, so I'm going to have a closed circle on 2 because it could be equal to. And it says x is bigger, so I'm going to shade to the right. The next one, x is less than or equal to, well, excuse me, x is less than 0, so it's going to be an open circle on 0, and we're going to be shading to the left. All right, and I think that might be it. Woohoo, that's it. All right, let me know if you have questions on these.